this in Exodus. He warns them something, and he says it will not be poured on the body of just an ordinary person, meaning not one of the priests. Like, you're not to just use it as perfume. You don't go use my smell to just smell good when you go on a date or whatever. He's saying, you will make no other like it in comparison. It is holy and will be holy to you. So whoever compounds any like it, or whoever puts any of it on an outsider, will be cut off from his people. Wow. God doesn't want anybody else smelling like him, in other words, at that time. And the reason that I read those verses is because I want you to see how picky he is about his smell. He's very particular about it, and he doesn't want to share it with just anybody. He wants a real experience with the presence of the real creator of the universe to be the only thing you're connecting with that. It's all very personal. He wants to be known for who he is, not for what that other person or whatever if it gets dumped on something else. No, it's it's me. I want you to associate it with me. Whereas he is about that, he's sharing that with us, like people who live in the same house. He wants you to smell like his own house, the house of the King. God is connecting to us, and he has shared in Christ his Spirit with us. His presence. That's where those voices come in again. Well, that sounds great, but you don't know how bad I smell. The things I've done. I don't know if the things I've done. I don't know if there's enough perfume in the city. There's enough perfume in the city to cover that. And I know that that's true. Don't smell good. That we collectively have been in some very smelly, terrible things. I may have done some things I regret and had serious consequences of sin in my life, but that's not who I am. I'm not defined by that. Because the God who made me took on flesh, was put to death for my sake to pay the penalty for those things. Even a few chapters down, overpowers any of the stench of our past. And that's the good news. That's the good news. We're getting any of the stench of our past. And that's the good news. That's the good news. We're getting that, lights from God, but where we go, where there's this aroma, that we have this mission, this commission to share the love of God everywhere we go. And our passage says that when verse 17, we are commissioned by God. Just like the things in the temple, he has anointed us and set us aside apart for this mission. Wherever we go, the King is there in every nook and cranny. That means then that we are the fragrance of his presence accompanying the King. The risen Jesus. When we go into work, when we go into our homes, where we go into school, the risen Jesus is there. And we announce his presence. Imagine that. Jesus, the risen King, goes into your office when you walk into that place. And it's not me saying that. Paul says, through us, God is making himself known everywhere because he is going there, which means then it's not an accident that you're there, right? And he wants to love some people at your work, at your school, in our families and neighborhoods. And he wants to smell up the place with the forgiveness and grace of Jesus Christ. I know of this one businessman who gave his life to Christ, and he worked really hard, was a good employee, and it was a very kind of multi-million-dollar company, I think, that he owned and accepted the calling to make disciples. So he owned that commission and knew that when he went to work, Jesus was there. This